Marty Abernathy, a show starring a binary trans woman born in the body of a non-binary atheist, trade unionist, equality advocate, and anarcho syndicalist that self-identifies as an unhinged fear pimp, outrage brigade commander, Breeze Peach police officer, SJW, and a bad faith agent of chaos.
Oh, that's right. I just shoved the microphone into the side of my face. I did that. I'm not sure why. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Tea Party. I am having a fabulous night so far. I gotta get this out of my face. Welcome to the Tea Party. By the way,
we're streaming live on YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Mixer, and Facebook. You can follow us on Facebook by searching for Tea Party Podcast. That's the letter T followed by Party Podcast, all one word. And on Twitter and Instagram at Marty Abernathy. You can financially support the show by making a one-time donation by going to trans.fm or by becoming a monthly patron at patreon.com/Marty Abernathy. That's MartyAbernathy.
Apparently I'm having problems drinking tonight. I have a drinking problem. This milk all over the side of my face. That's right, I'm drinking milk tonight. Hope everybody's having a good night. It's going to be an interesting show. By interesting, I don't know. Let's get started. By the way, if you want to help the show, go to teapartypodcast.com. If you're watching right now, wherever you're watching, like, subscribe if you can, and tell your friends. Tell your comrades. So let's get started. Jonathan is in the chat. And England is leading in football, and guess what? I don't care. I told him at work today that I was rooting for Ukraine. I was kidding, but I'm not rooting for anyone. I'm rooting for Team Marty. That's right. I said it. I mean,
wow, what an asshole.
Yeah, that's true. I am kind of an asshole. It's kind of funny when you have your soundboard kind of reversed so you get the wrong sound. I was going to do this.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah, we are surprised. It's all about me. Welcome, David, Jordan, Joan P, and some random geek in the chat. By the way, if you want to join us, your best bet if you want to chat is YouTube. YouTube and Twitch are reliable coming across the chat stream via Restream's chat. That being said, if you're on Facebook, welcome, Nerd Teacher. Ciao. Ciao? Anyways. Ciao means goodbye in Portuguese, by the way. All the cool kids hang in YouTube. Yes, Nick, you're right. All the cool kids do hang in YouTube. I just realized that some of the videos that Nick, who is my son in the chat, he's my son everywhere, but he's in the chat. I haven't included any of the videos he sends me, and we usually send each other some really good ones. My favorite one, and I actually showed it to somebody today, is when Dora the Explorer hits someone in a car, and basically bribes back or threatens, blackmails a backpack to bury the victim with a shovel. David Skog says, I have been listening to a podcast where they consistently add the to all the major social media sites. It's hilarious. We are on the YouTubes. We are on the YouTubes. We are on the Facebooks. We are on the Ticks and the Talks. Anywhere you want to be, that's where we are. Yeah. So, anyways, let's get to this mess. So tonight there is a bunch of transphobia. I'm not gonna lie, but it's, to be honest with you, it's so silly. It's so ridiculously silly. I mean, most of transphobia is, but that's just, I'm just like, people, can you not? And for some reason, my stinger transition doesn't want to work. Come on, you can do it. Oh my God, is OBS going to do this tonight? Let's see. That's the show. There we go. Although it's really not doing the transition I want, but that's okay. I'll live. So let's bring up this mess. I think I'm going to start out with Trump's gavel. I'm back and class is in session. Patriots are walking away. Bye-bye Walmart.com. God, this is going to be good. Oh, no sound. Man, that's...
Song, hold up.
I told you so.
I told you so.
Oh, God.
Big buffet at the Silver Slipper Casino here in our hometown. And I mean, I was getting down, go to town, boot scoot boogieing on that food. And I looked at the clock and it was like 7:45. And I said, oh, Lord, got a class tonight. So I ran here and I barely landed in this seat in time to bring you to class tonight. Well, so much to talk about. We have a great class tonight. Go ahead. Let's share this in all of our groups right now. Go ahead and invite all of your friends, your enemies. Go ahead and invite the liberals and the conservatives, because we have a great show tonight. We have a great guest tonight that I'll be bringing on here in just a few minutes.
Yeah, let's fast forward to some of the shit
that he received. I love DeSantis. Okay, decided not to run. 9.9% of Americans and of our groups right now. Go ahead and invite all of your friends, your enemies. Go ahead and invite the liberals and the conservatives.
Liberals.
Because we have a great show tonight. We have a great guest tonight.
Not leftists.
That I'll be bringing on here in just a few minutes.
Don't invite the leftists.
To give you some information.
The anarchists? Can we invite the anarchists?
A recent trip that he just made. I'll give him a proper introduction in just a few minutes. So you definitely want to get ready for tonight.
By the way, they're like... Patriots are walking away. WWW. Bye Walmart. Apparently Walmart is woke.
Tonight's class going to be loaded with intel from what I call our roving Republican reporter. He has been actually down to the border and comes back with some.
Did he get any New York City? Well, I forget what that was. Forget what that kind of salsa is. The kind that has no flavor. Anyways,
reporting for us tonight that I know you patriots are going to want to hear.
you
But
patriots.
before I do that, let me just go over with you some of the details of today's news. How many of you watched that big circus in New York City? New York City, that big
You stole my
circus
joke,
today,
you
where
little.
they went and got a man after 2 years of investigating Donald John Trump.
I love when people talk about patriotism, because I think about Emma Goldman when she said patriotism, a menace to liberty. What is patriotism? It is the love of one's birthplace, the place of childhood recollections and hopes, dreams, and aspirations. Is it the place where, in childlike naivete, we watch the fleeting clouds and wonder why we could not run so swiftly? The place where we could count the glittering stars, terror-stricken, lest each one of us and I should be piercing the depths of our little souls? Is it the place where we should listen to the music of the birds and long to have wings to fly even to distant lands? If that were patriotism, few Americans today could be called upon to be patriotic, since the place of play we have been turned into a factory, mill, and mine, while deafening sounds of machinery have replaced the music of birds. Nor can we no longer hear the tales of great deeds, for our stories our mothers tell today are those of sorrow, tears, and grief. And what is patriotism? Patriotism, sir, is the last resort of scoundrels, said Dr. Johnson. And Tolstoy, the greatest anti-patriot of our times, defines patriotism as the principle that will justify training of wholesale murderers, a trade that requires better equipment for the exercise of man-killing than making such necessities of life as shoes, clothing, houses, a trade that guarantees better returns and greater glory than those of the average workman. So yeah, patriotism is fucking overrated and bullshit. But yeah. We're patriots!
After $3 million of investigating Donald John Trump, after threatening everybody they can with all the power they have, they came up with a whole pile of nothing.
By the way, why do they always say Donald John Trump? Like, is there another Trump that we don't know about? Like, it's Donald Steve Trump? I don't know.
Absolutely zilch against Donald John Trump. That much. After millions of dollars have been spent of your money, by the way, taxpayers' money, they went on a witch hunt and they found nothing. So they decided they were going to go find an old 80-year-old man, almost 80, 70 something. Going to go find
80,
this man
75, 60.
and find out that there was some school tuition maybe, or some little things that he received as benefits from his job that perhaps he didn't report accurately on for his taxes. And now they're going to go take that man and put him in handcuffs today.
It's phony stuff.
And
it didn't happen.
Try to do another strike in the heart of Donald Trump. They went and found a sacrificial lamb, is what they've done. And this man that's lived a good, clean life, that if he's done anything wrong, I don't know if he has or hasn't, but if he has, it's no more than 99.9% of Americans have done, finding loopholes in their tax bill. Well, this man was handcuffed today as a sacrificial lamb. It was a circus, ladies and gentlemen.
A circus.
And if it doesn't,
not like this show, bye-bye Walmart,
doesn't infuriate you to see
the
power of the law being used for political witch hunts, then you have no passion for law, left in you. So it's been quite an interesting day there.
This is hilarious considering, like, the guy that represented Trump, the guy that represented Trump, the lawyer that represented Trump has now lost his New York law license. But he's talking about the rule of law. Whatever. Go on. Go on.
There in New York City, to say the least. But the funny thing about it is, do you know about how much his tax bill, what he's going to owe if he's found guilty? Are you ready to hear this? If he's found guilty, you know what his tax bill is going to be? About $80,000 pocket change for him. $80,000, and they spent $3 million to collect $80,000. Welcome to your Democratic government in New York City.
New York City.
So, ladies and gentlemen, keep our president in prayer. They are after him. He announced last night that he has made up his mind. He has made a decision to run. Well, he didn't say he'd made a decision to run. He answered Sean Hannity and said he had made up his mind. Well, the answer was in the question because he's out doing rallies. He's doing everything he can. That doesn't look like a man that's decided not to run. So we can only assume that he has made up his mind. Now, some of you have asked me today and throughout the week, what's going to happen if Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis run against each other?
Ron DeSantis.
That's the talk that's going through MAGA world. I want to say this.
Ron DeSantis, the guy that literally, so kids that get into trouble in Florida and they don't do anything after they get in trouble. Both the Senate and the House and the State House in Florida passed this bill that said David said, I'd like to listen to this guy read any book on Audible. Well, I'm not going there because I have an idea on which books. But so they had this law that basically said, that you could wipe away if you're a kid and you could wipe away jail time, a crime that you committed. It passed the Senate and the House, and DeSantis vetoed it. This is how much a prick he is. So,
to every single one of you right now. You hear me. You hear me.
I want you to put your hand on the screen. Hand on the screen. Jesus is going to heal you. I can feel it right now. That's what this guy.
Well, I love DeSantis. Okay.
Really? Are you guys seeing each other?
But this
See, he said no. Oh, so that means he's available.
patriotic movement, we owe the Oval Office to Donald Trump. And if there's anybody that would even remotely consider anybody else except Donald Trump, you are not a patriot, because patriots don't stand for injustice. We know what happened in the last election, and we're going to right that wrong one way or the other. Okay.
This is some kind of fucking cult, man. If one of their own runs against Trump, they're not a patriot.
So that's not even a question. I mean, I love Ron, but he better get on board, because ain't none of us fixing to get off the Trump train. That I can promise every single one of you. That man is returning one way or the other to his rightful office. I believe that. with all of my heart.
One way or another.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Look at the fucking card up here. 1776.
Without further ado, gather round. Get all your children together.
No, I'm done with this guy, but yeah. He's a special kind of no. But oh, Lord have mercy. We have some special ones tonight. I always kind of laugh at this because, okay, so know you're Satan. Come on.
Now, show the first video.
Wait a second. Hold on. I have to hold on. I have to go. Just for a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm ready. Hold on. Okay, I'm ready. I can do this. Okay, I'm ready. I can do this. Hold on. We gotta get this fixed. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. We're good. Okay. Here we go.
About why I only paid that much is because I'm smart. You know how to game the system. Well, guess what, Mr. President? I'm coming for you.
Now, be sure the volume's in the stream well. I want everybody to hear this sound. Now go to the next video and show this one. Now watch this close and listen very closely.
120 days. Give me a break.
120 days.
Time.
The next one.
I got them $1.9 trillion relief so far. They're going to be getting checks in the mail that are consequential this week for childcare. Just remind them, I wrote the bill on the environment.
Oh my God.
Why would I not be for it? Pay them more. This is an employees bargaining chip now.
Oh my God. Who is that?
Now, anyone in deliverance ministry, anyone that's ever dealt in deliverance in the ministry, where they deal with demonic spirits and evil spirits, will know that sound. Anyone that's ever been in deliverance should know that sound. They know exactly what they're hearing. While the press says it's whispers, anyone that's ever been in deliverance ministry knows what that
Deliverance. It's who is it? Hold on. Oh my God.
is. It's the voice of a demonic spirit.
And
people say, well, that's pretty far out. Is it? What spirit is it, brother? It's the spirit of the serpent that possesses the jackal.
These are the people that say trans people aren't like, they're like not, it's science-based. You believe in a fucking serpent, man. A serpent.
They built this throne,
and
it was replicated after the throne of Satan in Berlin. Now, show the first video.
Checks in the mail that are employees.
In deliverance ministry. Anyone that's ever been in deliverance should know that sound. They know exactly what they're hearing. While the press says it's whispers, anyone that's ever been in deliverance ministry knows what that is. It's the voice of a demonic spirit.
Are you like taking takeout for Jesus?
You know, that's pretty far out. Is it? Is it? What spirit is it, brother? It's the spirit of the serpent that possesses the jackal.
The jackal. So, yeah. So he's a special kind of fella. I don't know what's going on with his wig. I really think he needs a better one. Maybe one with a lace front, maybe, because I think we got our wigs at the same place. Really? I do. Anyways, here is the next video from this guy.
They built this throne.
So wait a second. So just remember, first Biden is Satan.
And it was replicated after the throne of Satan in Berlin, the Pergamon throne. See, there it is. See it?
Really?
See it, the columns? See all of that?
Oh,
look at the stars and stripes hanging there, and Satan's throne is above the stars. Look at it. So there he sits there. Now watch this. There's the real throne of Pergamon.
Oh my
Tell
God.
me they don't look alike.
Oh my God.
And then if you superimpose one over the other, there it is. So Barack Obama, when he walked out on that stage and said, "A righteous wind is at our back," and he starts talking about, and the crowds go wild. He's standing on a replica of the throne of Satan, or the altar of Baal, or the throne of Zeus. He's standing there.
Seems legit. I mean, yeah. I was actually there that night. Yeah, so yeah. But we're not done yet. Obama's Satan, Biden's Satan. Who else is Satan?
I knew going into this that I would be scrutinized, that I'd be called a racist, that I'd be fact-checked, labeled a conspiracy theorist, and that the slaves to Satan would no doubt come right after me. I don't let that bother me.
The slaves to Satan. This is, guys, the name's Stu Peters Show. The Stu Peters Show. Lots of Peters.
I don't care about threats of violence. I don't care about censorship. I don't care about big money contracts.
We Stu our Peters.
I don't care about bribery. Lawsuits and blatant coercion have been ineffective, and I come into this studio every single day with my shoulders rolled back, with my head held high, and ready to take it all on.
What a fucking hero. Man, this guy is awesome.
Kid's future is worth it. The future of your family and the future of this constitutional republic is hanging in the balance, and she is worth fighting for. It is no surprise to me that the devil is pissed off about all of it. And it's proven.
Was that the devil Obama or the devil Biden?
By the washed up, foul-mouthed, slimy existence of the personification of evil mentioning this program and doing it in such a fact-based delivery filled with substantiated evidence, right? This is the face of the globalists.
The face of the globalists. Satan's little helper, Howard Stern.
This is one of the mutated humans, if you can so call him that the deep state purveyors of evil will prop up.
The deep state purveyors. Who is that? Who is that?
Up as a spokesperson for the acceptance of genocide.
Where is that? Are you talking about the genocide going on in Palestine? No. Where? It's probably the Palestinians.
If you follow Howard Stern.
No, no, it's probably white people.
I will pray for you.
Oh my God. So yeah. So apparently Howard Stern, Obama, and Biden are like the trinity of Satan. I guess. But what they're going to bring about is making Jesus illegal. Making Jesus illegal.
There is a war on Christians. They did this, they targeted me, and they made an example out of me because I'm an outspoken Christian who vocally opposes the Equality Act. Listen, Alex, I don't know if you know much about it, but they're trying to illegalize.
Who is?
Jesus Christ.
They're trying to illegalize. Wait, did she just say illegalize?
I don't know if you know much about it, but they're trying to illegalize.
Is that a word? Illegalize?
Jesus Christ and the scripture and categorize it.
Absolutely. Just like in Europe and Canada where they're arresting pastors. Tell folks about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So what it will do is it will classify scripture, belief in traditional marriage as hate speech. If an abortionist wants to make the decision to not perform an abortion, they can arrest that abortionist or that doctor or that nurse that chooses to take the biblical approach and change their lives.
Take the biblical approach. Maybe if you're taking the biblical approach, maybe you should go into the ministry and not into medicine.
Children who struggle with gender identity, now that it's going to make them illegal for them to pursue therapy to change their mind. And
yeah, what's that called? Reparative therapy, and it harms children. Like that's not even a question. It's a fact.
This is, it's absolutely an attack.
It's basically the cult
Christians.
trying to make it illegal to leave the cult.
Yes, exactly. And even just quoting scripture will be classified as hate speech.
Yeah, quoting scripture is going to be hate speech.
Is what it is going to do. It is going to make Christianity a crime on a federal level. We cannot allow this to go any further. We're going to lose everything. If we give our enemy an inch, he's going to take the whole thing. As you've seen, Alex, you've
typical. Apparently, it's a guy.
Watched as this slow fade has happened, and we have allowed it to happen. And it's gotten to the point now where we're all going to end up in Kamala's gulags unless we all stand.
Kamala's gulags. We're going to end up there.
Stand up together and fight back as Christians.
Oh God. So you got these people, and then you got the COVID people. Jordan Joan P. Wait. Yeah. Wait, didn't she get her husband's permission to preach because that's in the Bible? Yes, it is. But, yeah, some random geek. They are oppressed. They want to be oppressed so bad. So bad. It's like a lust for them. They want some of that oppression clout, I guess. I don't know. But it seems like that's what it is. But yeah, so this is actually Republicans running against each other. Check this out.
James and I are both JLs. James Langford, Jackson Lawline. But I want you to know something about this JL. I'm not for sale.
I thought he said J-O, but
The other JL, he took a vaccine from Biden.
The other J-O, I mean J-L.
And they've got a $10,000 donation. I don't like that. I think that we need men and women of courage who will stand up country, not join in the corruption in the country.
Yeah, apparently fighting COVID is corrupt. These are your Republicans. These folks are your Republicans. This is what the Republican Party has become. By the way, yeah, it's people like this.
So the trolls come in, they tag all their fake propaganda actors, and then all those actors will...
See, this is the typical pseudoscience quackery mentality that we see on TikTok. These people post blatant misinformation, get called out on their shit, and then play victim and act like they're getting trolled. I'm not an actor, sweetheart. I can assure you of that. But Lisa, my dear, I went to your website and I don't see a single credential. I don't see education, and I certainly don't see anything evidence-based. Just a bunch of links shared by fellow pseudoscientific quacks such as yourself. That's not evidence-based science, my dear. Now, despite your anti-mask rhetoric, I did find it cute that you posted a link to this MMWR report from the CDC that actually demonstrated that masks limit community transmission of COVID-19. I'm guessing that was a gotcha moment that kind of just backfired on you, though. So nobody's trolling you, my dear. You just have a bunch of actual science-based professionals calling you out on your shit.
Oh my God. So, but that's not all that Republicans are like hypocritical on. This is one of my favorite follows on TikTok.
How is that possible?
Conservatives. The left is trying to take away my manhood, or take away manhood. Hold on. Let's go back. Conservatives. The left is trying to take away manhood by making men wear dresses and paint their nails. But also, trans women are still men. Oh, they have no fucking like consistency in their message because it's all about it. It's like they're like the the gotcha. Oh God. They're just not honest brokers of the truth. They represent themselves and grabbing power. That's it. That's the only thing that they're about. Adam said this is why I do drugs. Yeah.
Hey, so I want to talk about propaganda and specifically cultural straw manning, which is when a marginalized group is made to look completely unreasonable based upon either misrepresenting popular views or taking the most extreme views you can find in the community and acting as though they're popular. Now, a recent example of this is the birthing people controversy, in which a lot of people were very angry that the word mothers is apparently offensive.
Basically, what it was in the UK, and there were some nurses that wanted to use gender neutral language about parenting because there are trans men that are having babies and they don't want to call them mothers, and that offended these snowflakes.
Based on a tweet that used the phrase birthing people as opposed to mothers, despite the fact that that was not the original intention of the phrase at all. Basically,
the point was to be inclusive in a group setting, not that it's wrong to call yourself a mother.
Leading to millions of people being very upset at a hypothetical person that they basically just made.
Exactly. You're making it illegal to call people mothers and taking away Jesus and making him illegal.
Up in their heads. Now, this seems a little bit stupid and unimportant for liberation in general, but if you can frame a group of people to be unreasonable from the get-go, you make people automatically more hostile towards their liberation. Basically, propaganda can be personal. It's about the narratives you choose to tell and why.
And that is spot on. By the way, there's a trans woman that's actually going to be in the Olympics. I believe it's in weightlifting. But we got people we have fragile, just lame white males coming to give their shitty opinions, by the way. Here's somebody that considers himself a liberal.
Tell me you're a fragile male without a college degree in sports science or a doctor, without telling me you're not a scientist or a doctor.
Right, so I'm about as socially liberal as you can get, but I do not think it's fair for women who used to be men to compete in women's sports.
So why do you think it's not fair? Because I think it's not fair. Do you have any evidence? Science? No, I just don't think it's right. Oh, God. Yeah, some random geek. I found somebody said the best response to that. Everything after a butt is shit. Oh, it reminds me of this comic. This guy calls himself the Wolf of Wall Street on TikTok. So that tells you something. But one of my favorite creators had another take.
Is that bigotry? Oh, it is! The answer is neither, so why don't you sit down and I will give you some fun facts. Points win competitions, not skill or training or biology or genetics. Skill, training, biology, and genetics are simply means athletes use to get points. All athletes typically gravitate towards sports where their biological and genetic differences will give them an advantage. A lot of basketball players are tall. Michael Phelps literally has water wings. If you were a betting man, would you bet on the 8-foot-tall jockey or the 4-foot-tall jockey? Skill, training, biology, and genetics work together to get people points. No one uses just one. But even then, if Simone Biles doesn't show up to a competition she's supposed to be in, she doesn't get any points. Guess what that means? She doesn't win. Picking up what I'm laying down, there's no way around genetic and biological differences in any sports. That's why there's rules and regulations that everyone has to comply with, which she does.
Oh my God. So, and then we have this genius. Notice.
It's almost like genitalia has less to do with gender than you thought. Oops.
And then there's this one.
Notice how even though you have a smartphone, you're a fucking idiot? Get fucked.
Oh, I love Terrorverse. He's so on point. By the way, I find this pretty ironic. Stealing food is against the law, yet letting someone starve to death while you have an entire warehouse of food is completely legal. Abolish capitalism. And this.
So I stumbled across my buddy's video, and in this video, this comment says the #1 shoplifted item in the U.S. is baby food. And it's funny that I stumbled across that video because I went to a grocery store yesterday and I wanted to show you what it looks like in there. As you can see, they have a camera pointing to the meat section. And then there's an entire section of the store that is behind glass doors. You can go inside, but there is someone that is always there at that counter looking at you go in. And it's not like it's luxury items, it's mouthwash and body wash, deodorant. You've got baby food on this aisle and diapers. Again, these are not luxury items. This says a lot about our society that things like food to feed your baby and things to use for hygiene are locked behind glass doors. It takes a simple-minded person to look at this and easily demonize the people that are shoplifting these types of items. And it shows the lengths that we will go to for profit.
Capitalism, you gotta fucking love it. You gotta fucking love it. Until you don't fucking love it, because it's a piece of shit. Oh, by the way, I missed one. Check this out.
What's the agenda? The shot, the injection, the bioweapon, okay, they call it a vaccine, just so we're having the same conversation. What is being called a vaccine, everyone needs to look this up. It's called SM-102.
Yes.
And you say, well, what's SM-102? Yes. SM-102, a core ingredient of the shot. SM-102 also contains a technology called luciferase. Luciferase. Now, this answers your question. If we read the book of Ephesians, and I know that reading the book of Ephesians is sometimes, we haven't done it in a while as a culture. If we read,
what is this thing with Christians that, oh my God, it's got the word Satan in it. It's got the word Satan in it. If you spell it backwards and you take off your left shoe and you put your pinky toe in your nose, you'll smell Satan.
Ephesians.
By the way, Adam said a baby formula was also the thing I could most easily get dope for, because the majority of people selling it were parents who couldn't afford that shit. Yeah, exactly. One of my comrades on TikTok, I think it was Kami Trucker, said he did one of those. If you see somebody stealing, don't say shit at all. Don't say anything. But yeah. So apparently, let's continue on to listening to how the COVID stuff is going to kill us all and make us worship Satan. Apparently.
Chapter 1, Ephesians 1, verses 16 through 18. Okay? Ephesians chapter 1, 16 through 18. It says, this is written by Paul from prison. He says, cease not to give thanks for you, making mention of you in my prayers. A guy who's been beaten 39 times on 5 separate occasions is in prison saying, cease not to give thanks for you, making mention of you in my prayers, that the God of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of glory, may give unto you the spirit of wisdom, revelation, and knowledge of him, that the eyes of your understanding be enlightened, that ye may know what is the hope of his calling. Okay, now think about this. Paul from prison is saying wisdom, revelation, knowledge. Now you open your Bible to Revelations chapter 13, verses 16 through 18. John from the island of Patmos writes this, and this is going to blow people's mind because it answers your question. Here it goes.
Wait a minute. Wait, get ready, everybody. Now listen. This is going to blow your mind. You're going to be like, get ready. Are you ready?
Head's going to explode. They're going to have to look it up. He says, Revelations chapter 13, verse 16 through 18, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, that no...
Their forehead or the right hand, that's just like their shoulder, right? That's just like their shoulder. And the fact that it heals and there's no mark and there's nothing inside.
Man might buy or sell, save that he have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here's the wisdom. That's that word again. Let him that hath the understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So, everybody look this up. Type in W02020060606, and you will find the patent number or the filing number.
Say that number
Microsoft.
Again. Say that number again.
W02020060606.
Oh my God, it's got 66666 in it. These guys are like numerologists. They always are finding Satan where like they're making, oh God, it's like this. What do they call that? The ghost in the gaps or something. God in the gaps. but the gaps are getting smaller, so they have to make this kind of bullshit.
So Microsoft filed a publication number, just so we're clear, like a vanity license plate. You choose the number. They chose the publication number. You can find it on Google right now and DuckDuckGo. It's W02020060606.
Well, if they could just pick it, wouldn't they just pick 666?
Now, that number 060606 is for a cryptocurrency system using body activity, which makes the Revelations chapter 13, verse 16 through 18 possible, meaning that no man could buy or sell unless they have the mark, and the mark is 060606. So to answer your question, what is the motive? The SM102 technology.
Yeah, but the Bible says 666. It doesn't say 060606.
In the shot is called Lucifer race.
Look at Stu Peters. He's not even there. He's like on the beach somewhere, I think.
Lucifer, root word, ace, Lucifer race. It allows you to see whether someone has received the shot or not. And Microsoft has filed a patent number, W020200.
Microsoft
060606. And you might say, what? So Bill Gates, if you go to duckduckgo.com, I am a Christian, and you might say, well, Clay, who's your spiritual advisor? I would tell you Bill Scheer, the pastor of Guts Church, is as close to a spiritual advisor as I have. Look him up. But now you look up, go to DuckDuckGo, and type in, here we go, Marina Abramovich, and a lot of people haven't typed this in, but Marina Abramovich Spirit Cooking. So go to DuckDuckGo, type in Marina Abramovich Spirit Cooking. Someone says, how do you spell it? It's Marina, M-A-R-I-N-A, Marina like water, Abramovich, A-B-R-A-M-O-V-I-C. And click on images, type in Marina Abramovich Spirit Cooking. And there you will see that Marina Abramovich, who is Bill Gates' spiritual advisor, starts off meetings. She invites Satan into the hearts of her students. And her students include Lady Gaga. She's really into cannibalism. So again, the person advising Bill Gates.
Oh, this is who he's talking about. Oh my God, this guy. Jesus. This is who he's talking about. She's a conceptual and performance artist and philanthropist, writer, and filmmaker. Her work explored body art, endurance art, and feminist art. But apparently she's some sort of pastor. Spirit cooking. Here we go. Aphrodisiac recipes called spirit cooking. These recipes were meant to be evocative instructions for actions or thoughts. Oh my God. 13,000 grams of jealousy. While another one says to mix fresh breast milk with fresh sperm milk. Oh God. These people, they are special.
Is a satanic Satan worshiper. That's what she does. And Bill Gates.
Wait a minute. Is there another kind of Satan worshiper? A satanic Satan worshiper? Oh, God.
Chose to team up with Jeffrey Epstein to do a project together. And you say, what was the project? The world's most prolific pedophile teamed up with Bill Gates to work on a project. And you say, what's that project? Just type in Jeffrey Epstein creates own race of people into Google. So Jeffrey Epstein was trying to create his own race of people. Some might call it the Lucifer race. He wanted to seed the human race with his DNA. So models are false. PCR tests are false. Treatments are real. What's the motive? It's to get you and I to take the shot, AKA the mark, with the patent number W02020060606. The technology was cooked up by a spirit cooker who prays to Satan, and the world's most prolific pedophile teaming up with Bill Gates, who right now stands at the threshold of the gates of hell.
It all makes sense now. Thank God. Thank God you explained that to me. It all makes sense. I mean, how could you deny the logic of this? I mean, it's it's obviously true. Oh my God. I think somebody ought to give this guy money.
That was the coolest thing I have ever seen.
Wrong one, but yes. Jesus Christ. Anyways. Yeah, I thought that was amusing, but at the same time, it's so pathetic. It's so pathetic that these people are so... I mean, they're just fucking out there. Anyways, there was a couple things on Israel I wanted to talk about. This one is, this was from an interview that Mehdi Hassan did.
Is doing its level best not to kill anyone who is not involved. It's very important to know who is responsible here, because
Is it not the responsibility of the people pulling the trigger? That's normally how you hold people responsible for someone being killed.
Well, how do you define pulling the trigger?
How do you find pulling the trigger?
If you have the Hamas people...
A man with a gun aims at a child from 150 meters away and shoots him in the head.
What about...
To be honest with you, though, I mean, yes, there are conspiracy theories, but how is it? It's not very much... This kind of fucking conspiracy bullshit where, you know, listen to this guy.
About Palestinian terrorists who are hiding behind innocent people who are launching rockets.
Well, it's a simple question. 15,000 wounded. How many of them were either members of Hamas/terrorists?
I do not know. I know that from the 62 on the 14th of May, 50 were Hamas by their own admission.
No,
on the
we
others,
don't know that because there hasn't been an investigation.
The facts are...
You got their Hamas membership forms from their bodies?
The facts are that Hamas leadership, sometimes at gunpoint, are sending those poor Hamas, those poor Gazan people to the borders. Now,
where's the evidence for
do
that?
They have in the border?
The UN doesn't say that. Human rights groups don't say that.
Well,
let's come back to the issue of the shootings here. Even if they were all members of Hamas, even if all 15,000 people are, you do realize that under international law and basic morality, you can't shoot people for being members of a group, no matter what group it is. You can only shoot them when they pose an imminent threat to you. Were 15,000 people posing an imminent threat to Israeli snipers?
Yes, they were.
Can you believe that? Yes, they were.
Yes, they were. And I tell you how.
It's absurd. It's absurd. But I found this from on Norman Filkenstein's page about
he did not present a threat only to Israel and Israel's supporters. He posed a threat to the whole British elite across the board, from The Guardian to the Daily Mail. They all joined in the new anti-Semitism campaign. Now that's unprecedented. The entire British elite, during this whole completely contrived, fabricated, absurd and obscene assault on this alleged Labour anti-Semitism, of which there's exactly zero evidence, zero. Yeah, there are some fringe members of Labour who are, play into anti-Semitic.
When people hear that and understand where you're coming from, they'll say, "But hang on,
I'm not talking about me."
But you've got a vested interest here because of...
that's totally ridiculous. I read the polls. I read the data. It hovers between 6 and 8% are hardened anti-Semites in British society. It's nothing. Yeah, so there are a few crazies, but there's no institutionalized anti-Semitism in the British Labour Party. There's no threat of anti-Semitism in British society. I've read all the data. I've studied it closely. It just doesn't exist. It's all being designed and manipulated. I don't believe in conspiracy theories, as you know, but this is a conspiracy.
But there are Jewish people, and you have to recognize them in the UK, who are terribly worried about this. Because ultimately, if this anti-Semitism, which is what you're saying is used for political gain, doesn't work, when real anti-Semitism takes hold, then it's going to be back to the boy that cried wolf, and actually there's no protection for.
Well, there's a bigger problem than that. There's the boy who cried wolf, but I think there's a bigger problem than that. If Corbyn loses, a lot of people in the Labour Party are going to blame it on those Jews who fabricated this whole anti-Semitism witch hunt hysteria. And that will be a problem. But you know what the bigger problem there is? It's true. Jews were the spearhead of this campaign to stop Corbyn. And so there's going to be a lot of anger within the Labour Party. That's not anti-Semitism. That's factually based.
But it wasn't just these Jews that you're talking about.
But they played the most visible role, and they played the most aggressive role. The British elites could not have gotten away with calling Corbyn an anti-Semite unless they had the support, the visible support, of all the leading Jewish organizations. You have to remember that during the summer, all three major British publications, for the first time in British Jewish history, they all took out a common editorial denouncing Corbyn as an...
So, there's two... I was just floored by both of those. No, Adam, I don't think he's going too far. Because, look, the reality in the UK politics is there is not another groups that are larger. There's more of an Islamophobic problem than there is anti-Semitism in the UK. There are more Muslim people in this country than there are Jewish people in the UK. There are more trans people in the UK than there are Jewish people. Labour doesn't do anything about transphobia within its party. They literally have an MP. They literally have an MP that had two of her staff. One was a lesbian, but they both quit because they said that she was transphobic. If that would have happened to anyone in Labour as far as anti-Semitism, they would have been out of the party. In fact, look how they threw Corbyn out of the party just for him saying that it was weaponized. That's all he said. He wasn't even saying that what Norman Finkelstein is saying. He was just saying that it was being weaponized, and it's obviously true. Anyways. I thought this one on hijabs.
When people try to argue that Muslim women are forced into wearing the hijab, I'd like them to consider that social norms and direct coercion are not the same thing. For example, there's plenty of cultures out there in which it's completely normal for a woman to bare her breasts, who may think that we are oppressed because we don't do that. Now, maybe they have some points, but I doubt many people feel majorly oppressed by this because it's a social norm which people by definition don't think about, even though you can literally be arrested for trying to break it. Now, because we live in a patriarchal society, these things can have patriarchal manifestations, such as some women being forced into hijab and some young girls being over-sexualized for their breasts. But that doesn't mean you should throw the whole thing away. I doubt if somebody tries to take your bra off to free you from oppression, you'd say thank you, because you recognize that your body is not a political statement and it is not for the performance of anybody else's definition of feminism. In any case, I've never seen anyone try to justify the subjugation of entire foreign countries based on freeing women from the oppressive force of bras.
I'd have to agree with that. By the way, here the rest of the stuff going on out is kind of By the way, some more Jesus info. This comes from Right Wing Watch, one of our the organization that no longer has a YouTube channel, but it was only gone a day. And
hey guys, Jeff Jansen, Global Fire Ministries International. Tonight, 6 p.m.
Yeah, tonight, 6 p.m. When is that? A few days ago?
Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time. Ooh.
President Trump, yes, they're calling him President Trump, is going to be addressing the GOP and the nation. I'm not sure if it's televised. Probably not. It'll be
Is that the one where people were walking away from, like even Trump supporters?
Live stream for sure. I'm sure he's going to be talking about the 5 states from Georgia, Michigan, Arizona, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. But we'll.
How come they never? The voting was messed up again. It was supposed to be a blue wave, so why wouldn't they have? If Democrats cheated, why wouldn't they cheat across the board and make a huge blue wave that was expected? But they don't talk about that. It's not logic. This is just BS.
Watch what happens. I said by spring, which starts officially June the 23rd, we'd be dancing in the streets.
Yeah, dancing in the streets.
Trump administration is on its way in. The pedophilia Biden administration, the fake administration, Biden administration's on its way out. I don't care if you like it or not. It doesn't matter. We all know what took place, and God is going to do something amazing in this nation and through this nation. It's revival time. It's revolution time.
Yeah. Oh dear. So I found this interesting too. It's about class consciousness.
I wanted to stitch this, not because I don't agree with this take. I absolutely agree with this take. But I thought the comments were really interesting. A lot of them said stuff like, oh, you can be rich and a chav. Chav is a mindset. But it's not about who you deem as chavs. It's about why you think that behavior is negative. If you ask somebody this question, they will give you one of two answers. The first of which is something purely aesthetic. They would say the way they dress, the way they talk, the way, they ride bikes. Who cares? It doesn't hurt anyone, so who cares? That point writes itself. The second thing is something like, oh, they bully people, they're homophobic, they're racist, they steal, etc. Well, posh people do all of that too. So what is your point? Your point is that you are fundamentally associating the aesthetics of the working class with negative traits, which is classist.
I think this is pretty on point, and there is something I think this is something that I'm guilty of myself, and it comes from growing up close to Kentucky and really having an issue with the accent, and because it in my head it always represented ignorance and backwardness, and I've had to unlearn that. Because, I mean, I don't sit there and think that when black people use AVE, that they're somehow not as good as me or smart as me or anything like that. So I should do the same with people that have a Southern accent. It's not how they say something, or it shouldn't be how they say something. It should be what they're saying. So that's been a learning process for me, and it's because we have to think of these things as these people are dumb or stupid, or they don't know anything, and I think that's a dangerous trap to fall into. And it kind of makes it so that you give up part of the working class. And I think that's a mistake. But yeah, so oh, here we go.
The most predominant form of theft is wage theft. So if you see someone shoplifting, whether it's booze or baby formula, it's none of your business. They're just reappropriating their stolen wages from the owner class. Have a great weekend.
That's on point. That's very on point. By the way, I wanted to see if you guys had seen this. I need to turn this down because I actually called the file no sound, because I'll get a violation if I use the sound from it. But this is from the Gulf of Mexico. That looks like something from a Journey album or something from a Bruce Willis movie about the end of the world. No, but that's the Gulf of Mexico. This is literally a gas leak in the ocean that's caught fire. Oh God. The Gulf of Mexico, yep, is on fire. This is the fucking water. All right. Oh, and I also, check this out. This is fucking scary, especially for someone that has a partner in Brazil. I'm going to write Tammy Baldwin and basically mention this.
Currently meeting with top officials of the Bolsonaro regime. CIA director is currently meeting with top officials of the Bolsonaro regime in Brazil. This is coming after.
So, if the CIA director is meeting with top officials in the Bolsonaro regime, I'd like to know what the reason is. This is a right-wing, Trump-supporting administration. Why are they having talks with basically the right wing? And I have a feeling it's because there's no difference between Trump and Biden when it comes to foreign policy. There's just not. They're both right wing.
For days, he traveled to Colombia to meet with top Ivan Duque regime officials. This is right as these far-right regimes are receiving mass protests against by the people. And this is also right as the left is on the rise in Latin America, and as both Bolsonaro and Ivan Duque are receiving leftist challenges in upcoming presidential elections. So, of course, the CIA wants to have a chat with these two. And we need to look out for this.
Well, I would more look at Brazil Wire than I would you may not like where the tweet comes from, but my God, if the CIA is literally connecting with Bolsonaro, there's a problem. There's a fucking problem. So, by the way, I've got a few more to play. Most of these are comedy, but I wanted to play this one kind of random one, and I was just shocked at this.
What is custodial Roth IRAs?
So a Roth IRA is basically like your retirement account, right? So you know that once you reach the age of retirement, you're able to pull out of it without penalty as long as you do it past a certain age. So most people don't start establishing that until after they have a job, and then that job is turning earned income.
Yep.
So you can position, like my 5-year-old right now, she's positioned to be a millionaire at 40 if she does nothing else with her life. And so how that works is my 5-year-old, whenever I do photo shoots, she's a paid model. I write her a check for being in my photos. And so because I write that check and I deposit it into her account, it's proving that she has earned income, which allows me to gift her or to put money into her custodial Roth IRA. So my child is already working on her retirement account at 5.
That's how you introduce and change the culture. That's how you change generations. That's how you expose generations. Custodial Roth IRA.
Imagine, and this is what I don't think you can see it, but Retro Waves was literally saying, imagine if they put that much effort into community building than they do wealth building. Anyways, let's slide on in. Let's slide on into the palate cleansers. This made me fun. This made me laugh.
I made the mistake today of telling my husband that a French sex worker originally invented fake eyelashes, and she called them cumbrellas for obvious reasons. And I was wearing fake eyelashes today. But my husband's a clown. So here I am, less fabulous, on my way to Target. Sinful.
Don't shame people for their cumbrellas. Don't slut shame. It's okay. By the way, and remember that.
A lot of things start with potatoes, French fries, hash browns, famine, communism.
Oh, don't cry. Are you?
Okay, and this is probably my favorite video of the night.
Okay, so my video that was apparently an insensitive joke that white people don't like spicy foods. They don't use real hot sauce. I got taken down. And I got taken down for adult nudity and for harassment and bullying. So this is my apology video to the white people that got upset. I went out to the store and got hot sauce that I know you white people like. Okay? I am very sorry. It was insensitive of me to insinuate that white people do not like spicy. See, and for anybody that says ketchup isn't spicy, you could look at the dictionary definition of ketchup. Okay? A thick, spicy sauce made from tomatoes. See, this is ketchup. Okay? I apologize to the white people.
Oh, I didn't get all of that video. Oh, I'm sad. Let me see. Yes, here it is. Here's the whole thing. Oh, let me pull this over. Here's the whole thing. Because the whole thing makes it funny.
Okay, so my video that was apparently an insensitive joke that white people don't like spicy foods. They don't use real hot sauce. I got taken down. And I got taken down for adult nudity and for harassment and bullying. So this is my apology video to the white people that got upset. I went out to the store and got hot sauce that I know you white people like. Okay? I am very sorry. It was insensitive of me to insinuate that white people do not like spicy. See, and for anybody that says ketchup isn't spicy, you could look at the dictionary definition of ketchup. Okay? A thick, spicy sauce made from tomatoes. See, this is ketchup. Okay? I apologize to the white people. Okay, so my video that was apparently an insensitive joke that white people don't like spicy foods. They don't use real hot.
Oh. Anyways, so that's all I got tonight. It's a short show. I didn't know how long that was going to last. Oh, no. I do have a few more articles. I did want to share that I found interesting. This one is from Academic Anarchist on Twitter, or Academic Anarchy. And this is debating and destroying far-right ideas sure helps decrease the spread of those ideas and their influence, right? Wait a minute. For context, these are statistics of the growth of the far-right people who have appeared on a panel where the host believes defeating the ideas actually does good. It's almost like debate doesn't help change people's minds, but increases the spread. Funny how that works. Results of platforming an actual Proud Boy. I'm almost starting to think debate is worthless. Again, meta-analysis proves debate is pretty much worthless. The graph shown here from the most popular far-right people on Twitch, and it shows how exponential growth that coincides with the appearances on debate panels. Another spurt of growth that coincides with panel appearances. Around 100 to 200 people following over a period of 1 to 4 days after each panel appearance speaks volumes. Not as damning, but the spikes are still coinciding with panel appearances. It's almost like a YouTube channel has only ever gotten growth due to a panel appearance on Twitch. It is now around 3,000 in total. Damn, look what I found. I wonder why. Twitch, where the far-right influencers feel at home. Growth is consistent. They remain at the same pace for long enough that it is extremely unlikely that this is bots or hate watchers. Ever heard of hate watchers that amount to thousands of people that follow for 6 months? Me neither. Cope harder. You're looking at true harm that the format and irresponsible platforming does to people, and it may be hard to reconcile that your idealized version of debate, the holy grail of de-radicalization, but that doesn't make it any less true. People are grasping at straws to deflect a fundamental truth because it gives them cognitive dissonance, LMAO. All I did was look at public data. The site I used is even watermarked. Look it up yourself. You can figure out who these people are. I didn't manufacture shit. I would name the content creators who platform these bad people, but I don't fancy getting dogpiled by their stands. You can put one and one together, though, and you know which people I'm talking about. That's why the deflection came immediately before any actual engagement. Consider this. If I cite meta-analysis that proves debate isn't useful, actual data that proves my thesis about platforming, and interpret that data and stand still grasp at straws to discredit, you can truly see how deeply ingrained the idea of debate as the ultimate weapon is. Anecdotal evidence has its place, but in the face of this, it pales in comparison. We need to do better. We need to reform the entire panel scene to mitigate the harm that is being done, even if I'm not sure it is enough. All I ask for is responsibility and accountability, but you are truly terrified of those two things, and it shows. So I thought that was spot on. I also found this piece by The Intercept that was pretty awesome. Talks about the term moral equivalence, a term of propaganda invented in the 1980s, and the whole reason why that it was started was back in the Reagan era, when it received criticism over its extraordinary, brutal policies in Central America and elsewhere. The phrase sudden rise to ubiquity can be followed via Google's Ngram viewer, which allows users to see the frequency in which words have appeared in books over the past 100 years. Moral equivalence was barely used in English language before Ronald Reagan was elected. It exploded in popularity afterwards. And the concern of neoconservatives then was, first, that the strength of the Soviet Union was growing by leaps and bounds. Meanwhile, liberal intellectuals in America and Europe had lost sight of the flawed but superior nature of the U.S., and their critiques were dangerously sapping the morale of the West. As the writer Norman Podhoretz, another conference attendee, put it, these intellectuals, with their incessant foolish carping, were undermining the willingness of the democratic world to resist. The acuity of these insights can be judged in the fact that within 6 years, the USSR had collapsed and ceased to exist. In a subsequent article titled The Myth of Moral Equivalence, Kirkpatrick explained in more detail the fundamental distinction between the US and the Soviets and why it was inherently illegitimate to compare them. Once you view the United States and the Soviet Union as contending for the world, you have already suggested a symmetry between their goals to dominate the world. The fact is, of course, that we do not seek to dominate the world. How does anyone believe that bullshit? How does anyone you have 800 or between 600 and 800 bases, depending on who you ask, around the fucking world. You're not trying to fucking dominate the world. We do not seek colonies. You don't need colonies. You literally overthrow governments, duly elected governments. We do, in fact, seek to foster a world of independent nations. Independent, if they agree with you. Oh, my God. Kirkpatrick's piece appeared in a magazine by Hillsdale College, a conservative Christian institution in Michigan that had co-sponsored a moral equivalence conference. This seems appropriate given that her argument was the equivalent of catechism, a statement of the tenets of faith presented as an unquestioning truth backed with no evidence. Like a religious catechism, its language designed to terminate thought rather than facilitate it. And while the USSR evaporated 3 decades ago, moral equivalence has continued to flourish. So I would read the whole piece, but it's very interesting because basically when people are talking about and this, that's why the American politicians and pundits were honestly infuriated by Omar mentioning the U.S. and our mini-me Israel in the same breath as Hamas and the Taliban. If you go by body count, the U.S. and Israel have killed far, far more people. In fact, it's possible that more Palestinians died in the 40 hours in 1982's Sabra and Shatila massacre than Israel's have been killed by Hamas in its entire existence. But we have good reasons for killing people. Hamas and the Taliban do it just for the sheer joy of being evil. So we know that if Hamas and the Taliban had America or Israel's power, they would do much worse things than we have. On the other hand, if the U.S. were invaded and occupied for 50 years by a country 1,000 times as powerful as we are, we'd never act like Hamas because we're good folks. The neoconservatives in the 1980s were also genuinely flabbergasted at the idea that America and the Soviets were anywhere in the same moral universe. They accurately pointed out at the time that life for the median person was far better in the United States than the Soviet Union. What they did not want anyone to consider was that the life for regular people in America's satellites was significantly worse than those in the USSR. Also, look at how people have been brought out of poverty in different locations and where you started out from. It's just, it's bizarre. Anyways, and that's what I always laugh about is like America spent from basically the end of World War II to the fall of the Berlin Wall, pouring millions, if not billions, of dollars into fighting the Cold War. Why would you call it a war if it's not something that you feared? They feared communism. They couldn't just put out democracy and capitalism out there and say, this is the way. This is the light. And people believe it because capitalism doesn't work that way. It enslaves people. It does not free people. You have the richest nation in the world and some of the poorest people. The income inequality in America is intense. What they did not want anyone to consider was that life for regular people in America's satellites was significantly worse than those of the USSR. It was certainly awful to be a citizen of East Germany, but it was far worse in most of Central America. This is why Reagan's partisans used moral equivalence most commonly to defend his administration's indefensible policies toward Guatemala, Nicaragua, and El Salvador. Reagan personally spoke up in support of the Guatemalan government, even as it committed literal genocide against the people's poor peasants. An American forensic anthropologist who later helped exhume some of the victims said, "It's too bad Jeffrey Dahmer didn't come to Guatemala because he would be a general by now." Next door in El Salvador had become a similar abater. In Kirkpatrick's article, she especially exercised by criticism of Reagan's policies there, and any attempt to draw a moral equivalence between the U.S. and the Salvadorian government on the one hand and the Salvadorian rebels on the other. The government of El Salvador is continually attacked for gross violations of human rights, she said, but guerrillas are not attacked for the violations of human rights. The reason for this later became clear when the UN Truth Commission found that 85% of the killings in El Salvador were executed by the government and only 5% by the guerrillas, and the remainder were unattributable. So, yeah, it's just fucking newspeak is what it is. But yeah, I found that interesting. Oh, this is good news. Wisconsin adds gender neutral option to birth certificates. I'm waiting for conservatives to have a cow over this one. New York State passed a bill earlier this month that allows people to identify as neither male or as neither male or female, to have a gender identity neutral X to designate their gender on the birth certificates and driver's license. I thought that was interesting. Also, 6 months ago, again, ACAB. 6 months ago, a New York cop murdered an 11-year-old black girl. He's still on duty. Last December, New York State Police murdered an 11-year-old girl, and our officer rammed the SUV that a black family was driving, causing it to crash. Just before Christmas, Tristan Goods was driving on I-87 between New York and Albany with his wife and his daughters, Monica and Tristina. Around midnight, State Trooper Christopher Baldner pulled them over, allegedly for speeding. Goods recounts what happened in an interview with the New York Daily News. Police report corroborates his accusations. According to Goods, the officer was belligerent, shouting at him and cursing his wife. Goods said that he kept his hands on the steering wheel and requested to speak to Baldner's supervisor. Baldner then questioned him if he had guns or drugs in the car with no reason for suspicion whatsoever. The cop saw Goods' 2 young daughters in the car. Goods alleges that after a verbal argument, Baldner pepper sprayed the interior of the SUV, affecting all 4 occupants. Goods drove away out of fear after the unprovoked attack on his family. The state trooper chased the family down on the highway, rammed their SUV from behind with his squad car twice. His second impact, striking the rear corner of the SUV, caused it to careen across the highway, flip, and roll over a guardrail. Monica Goods was thrown out of the vehicle and died. The trooper prevented Tristan Goods from running to help his dying child. Good testified that Baldner aimed his gun at him after the crash, repeating the accusation that he might be carrying guns or drugs, then arrested him. And the New York State Police's own report shows that Tristan Goods' account of being attacked and rammed is true. The collision report, which states that Baldner police car struck Goods' family SUV twice from behind, pursuing them. The two impacts were 1,600 feet apart. They cannot possibly have been accidental, and the cop chose, after hitting the family once, to do so again. The police took 12-year-old Tristina Goods to the station immediately after witnessing her sister's death and questioned her for 4 hours without a parent present. The New York State Police's written policy on car pursuits says that the cops should minimize high-speed chases and not use reckless or hazardous measures and end a pursuit if a clear and present unreasonable danger to the public outweighs the importance of capturing someone. Clearly, this policy is worthless. The Daily News had to make a Freedom of Information Act filing to see the policy, and the New York State Police redacted part of its text of their fucking policy. Shortly after Monica Goods' death, Democratic New York Attorney General Lolita James declared she was beginning an investigation. The New York State Police also said that it was investigating the actions of its own cop. Yet 6 months after the murder of Monica Goods, Christopher Baldner is still a New York State Police officer merely assigned to desk duty. The state government has taken no action to charge him with a crime. No state officials have publicly discussed facts of his actions. No dash cam or body cam video of the event has ever been revealed. So, again, fucking ACAB. Anyways. I don't want to read this whole thing. It's interesting. You can look at it, but this picture made me laugh. What is critical race theory and what are racists afraid of? Like literally creating racial tension. All right. So she's saying critical race theory creates racial tension. What does her shirt say? Love, free speech. Oh my God. Are you serious? Like literally. You want free speech, but you don't want your kids to have an education. I mean, really? Anyways, yeah, I shouldn't be surprised at this shit anymore, but they are literally just a caricature of themselves. It's a joke. Anyways, that's all I got for tonight. Nerd Teacher said, if that was the point of schools, we wouldn't be in this predicament. I honestly think that when it comes to I used to read stuff where it would say that people they just want to keep people servile. They just want people to be a slave to their masters and all these things. And I'm just like, I believe it now, because they have this version of what they call the truth that literally is there to erase the truth, So anyways, yeah, I just thought this picture was hilarious. I love free speech, but only the speech that I like. Anyways, y'all have a good night. I'll be back on Wednesday. I'll be back on Monday. But I'll be playing COD most likely. But I'll have another show on Wednesday. If you have any suggestions for the show, if you want to see me cover stuff, let me know. If there are things that you're interested in, let me know, because I want to cover the stuff that I'm starting to cover. I'm starting to develop, I think, themes. So I'm thinking about having some graphics made. One would be some kind of Christian corner of some sort. Transphobes would definitely be another. But I'm trying to think of other categories that would be good to have, and kind of ideas for graphics. 'Cause these people are just also if you have any ideas for guests you think I can get, send those to me. You can find my email address by going to teapartypodcast.com. It is linked to my link tree. It's forwarded to my link tree. By the way, if you want to help our comrades out, you can go to charitylinks.page. And if you want to join our comrades tomorrow, you can go to Social Justice Alchemy on YouTube and join us. I will be there late because I don't get off work until 8, but I will definitely be listening to Social Justice Alchemy, and you should too. Anyways, y'all have a good night. I will talk to you soon. You are loved. You are appreciated. Have a great night.